You know what really ticks me off sometimes? Especially like when it comes to just being on the internet, is people complaining about TV sucking, or really better yet, just cartoons today are just bad and all this other crap. And I'm just like going, what the fuck? Like, seriously. I can't even enjoy like just watching a damn cartoon show like on YouTube without seeing nostalgia fanboys making comments about, oh yeah, this show rocks, all these other shows today suck. I get so sick and tired of just always seeing stupid ass comments like that. And it's not even just like limited to YouTube, it's like on other websites that I go on. All these people complaining and whining about everything is sucking now and that everything in the past was better and all this other shit. And to me it's just like, really, this is all you want to complain about? It just seems like ever since like, and I guess this is just like, in my opinion, I think ever since like 2005, 2006, all I have been seeing is people just complaining about the 2000s decade and all this shit, and just whining about how they just want the 90s to come back, mostly, or the 80s, but really just mostly the 90s to come back, and bring all the shows like Keenan and Kel and Rocko's Modern Life and Doug and all this other stuff. Now, I like the older shows, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, I mean, when is this complaining ever gonna end? This is all people complain about now. And they were doing it for the past several years. And I would at least thought people would just stop, but no. No, they're not gonna stop. They're gonna continue complaining, and to me that doesn't make sense. There are other things to worry about, and here they are complaining about some damn cartoons. A damn freaking kids network that's technically not even targeting their demographic anymore. I mean, they're not part of the the demographic or whatever anymore. Like you're not even in that section to even watch this stuff or whatever. I'm not saying they can't watch cartoons or anything like that. I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is that they're not part of the target audience for some of these shows that they complain about. And to me, it's like, if you don't like what Nickelodeon has on, then just watch something else. Or better yet, why can't you just watch Nicktoons Network? Because they just recently brought back Rocko's Modern Life and Cat Dog, and they still have Ren and Stimpy, and they have the Rugrats, and they have Rocket Power. If you want them to bring the rest of the shows back on Nicktoons Network, just call them. They're not going to put it back on Nickelodeon, but you can probably request for them to put it back on Nicktoons Network. That's all I'm saying. Personally, I don't care. I don't even really care if Nicktoons Network doesn't even put the rest of the shows, their old shows that they had on there. Because I can always just watch some of the stuff on YouTube. Or I could just go and just buy it online, to me, there's so many options to watch this stuff. This is why I don't complain about it. Hell, you can even go, if you have like a PSP, or maybe even a PS3 or whatever, but I have a PSP, you could go into the PlayStation Network, the store of course, and you could buy all these shows and stuff from there. That's why I'm just like, why are people complaining about, all this crap about, I wish they'd bring back Rocko's Modern Life and crap. There are so many ways you could get these shows, and to me, it's like, why are people still complaining? I think that's because they have nothing better to do, and this is all they want to do, is just whine, whine, whine. I just think it's a waste of time, really. But what I want to say is that my only problem, really, if I really just want to just say this, I'm just kind of throwing it out there. My only problem with Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, well, actually, really just Nickelodeon, is the fact that they don't have enough shows, and they keep showing iCarly and SpongeBob like 8,000 times a day. And to me, it doesn't make any sense, because 15 years ago, they weren't even doing anything like that with any of the shows they had. But that's it. That's my only problem with Nickelodeon, is the fact they don't have enough shows. They need to make more shows. And they need to stop showing iCarly and SpongeBob all the time. I like iCarly, I will admit, I actually kind of like that show. But they need to just kind of cut back on their airing of, the airing of that show. Same goes with SpongeBob. Personally, I lost interest in SpongeBob like a long time ago. And when I mean a long time ago, it was pretty much like after the movie. And even then, I didn't really like the movie too much, but I'm just saying, around that time, I just kind of lost interest. But I just get tired. But, I mean, that's really about all I have to say about Nickelodeon. That's my only problem with it. I don't really care overall. Cartoon Network, I will admit, is actually getting better. Because a few years ago, it was pretty bad. When they started putting live action stuff on there, I was just like, no, you're contradicting yourself. But now I don't really see hardly any live action on there. I think they're actually getting better, and they're actually putting a little more shows on there, unlike they were like several years ago. As for Disney Channel, I can't really say too much about Disney, because Disney hasn't been good in a very, very, very long time, even during the 90s. When they later changed themselves to Zoo Disney and started having stuff like Famous Jackson, that's where I kind of lost interest. The only show I liked on there around that time was Lizzie McGuire. That was really about it. Because when they started having the Jersey, Famous Jackson, So Weird, and a Heartbeat, I was like, yeah, this is just getting lame. But, that's it. Personally, that's my opinions of these networks. Because other than that, I don't care. I don't give a damn. I can always watch the old shows online and stuff, as I said before. And besides, people need to realize not everything that came out in the 70s, 80s, and 90s was that great. Like, for example, as much as I like some of the stuff that Hanna-Barbera has made, a lot of it was crappy. In all honesty, it was just crap. Like, for example, like Scooby-Doo was a pretty decent show until Hanna-Barbera decided to keep recycling it with all the spin-offs, and then ended up having, like, later on, they had shows that pretty much suffered from Scooby-Doo syndrome, where they pretty much have different characters but the same damn plot. Like, for example, Fangface was pretty much like watching Scooby-Doo, or like Clue Club is the same thing, and the Amazing Chain Clan was pretty much the same thing. And Josie and the Pussycats, unfortunately, was pretty much the same thing. And Jabba Jar, same thing. Jabba Jar, Scooby-Doo, and everything else. Everybody else was the humans that were pretty much similar to, Scooby-Doo. I mean, there was no difference. It was just different people, but same plot. How original. And then, like, in the 80s didn't have that many good shows. In fact, I will say the 80s had probably some of the worst animation I've ever seen, ever, in any decade. People want to complain about today's animation and stuff, but 80s animation was just bad. God. In the 90s was okay, but there was still a lot of crappy shows. I'm talking about in terms of cartoons, not really like live action shows or anything, but in terms of cartoons, some of it was just kind of stupid. Like, Ren and Stimpy was just, as much as I kind of like that show, I mean, I don't really like it as much as I used to, but, as much as I kind of enjoy watching it now as an adult, I mean, it's nasty. Like, when you're a kid, you probably wouldn't pay attention to it too much, but watching it now, I saw it like during the summer. I was just watching it. It was just disgusting. It was like horrible. I actually almost threw up like while I was watching some episode, it was really that bad. And what else? And then there's like some other stupid crap that, you know, the 90s had. Power Rangers was crappy, you know. Then again, it's always been crappy, so what am I talking about? It's bad. And then the Rugrats, I hate to admit it, but even the Rugrats wasn't that great. Like, at first, I'm gonna say, was it 3 seasons or 4 seasons? First few seasons, it was okay. Until they canceled it, and then they tried to bring it back, and then it actually got pretty bad. Yeah, they tried to bring it back like late 96, early 1997, and it was just bad. And the reason why I say it was bad is because, like, you could tell there's a difference. Like, I mean, what I did like about when they tried to bring it back again is that it looked brighter. I actually did like that. And it didn't sound all whispery and quiet. I didn't really like all that. That just kind of annoyed me. I don't mind the older episodes. I just didn't like how Tommy was all whispery and quiet. Half the time you couldn't even really hear what he was saying. Like, what is he saying? But my only problem with, like, when they try to bring back the Rugrats is when, like, what was it? It was just something like, oh yeah, like, they made it gross. It was just nasty. Like, they kept having all this toilet humor, and if you saw the first few seasons, they didn't even have anything like that. But it got much worse when they started having that Rugrats movie. If you watch the Rugrats movie, the first one, you will see like 80% of that movie is nothing but just toilet humor. That is it. And then watching Rugrats in Paris again at the age of 19 compared to watching it when I was like 9 going on 10, it was just like it was bad. Like, I have the movie like on my PSP, and when I was watching it, all I saw was just all I heard was toilet humor after toilet humor, and I was like, this is not a good movie, and the stuff they're saying is just nasty. Can they cut it out? So yeah, you know, Rugrats was okay, but then it just got bad. But my point is, what I'm saying is that not everything in the past was that great, and that people just need to learn to just move the fuck on, okay? Things change. Not everything is going to remain the same. Oh yeah, and by the way, I want to say the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air should seriously get the fuck off the air. I'm so tired of seeing that damn show on every other channel. It's so annoying. It was never a great show, so I don't know why the hell it's still on. Same goes for Seinfeld, but anyway. All I'm saying is that things change. Things are not going to last forever. All this complaining about trying to bring back some shows, it's just pointless. You know, I mean, unless you know, like if Nickelodeon, for example, you want to call about putting it on Nicktoons Network, that's understandable. But Nickelodeon is not putting their shows back on Nickelodeon. Nicktoons, maybe. Nickelodeon, no. Nicktoons Network, as I said before, maybe. But Nickelodeon, no. They're not. People just need to just get over it. And stop all this complaining about TV sucking, okay? Not everything on TV nowadays is bad. You just probably watching the wrong thing.